Akshay, we are recording the session.
Just started the recording.
Okay, thank you. So this is what we are going to basically uh, look at today. We are going to talk about the introduction of the Workato. We will see basically what exactly the Workato is, how you can sign up for a free Workato account, which is basically going to be a, maybe a little bit tricky part. Not tricky part is exactly, but hack of how you are going to sign up for the Workato account, how you are going to get the access to the agents capabilities of the Workato. There are two different accounts that you can sign up for. We are going to talk about the capability of the Workato, then different popular use cases for the integration, and we'll see a quick demo where I'm going to write a end-to-end recipe, end-to-end workflow in the Workato builder, and then basically at the end we are going to open for Q&A. And finally, Akshay is going to have some quiz, which is going to be the excited part, where you will have a chance to learn some, not learn, but earn something from Slack. Okay, so if you talk about the topic is seamless integration of Slack with Salesforce using Workato, because there are different tools out there which can be helpful for us to integrate Salesforce with Slack. Salesforce itself provide a lot of applications that can be utilized. Our focus will be mainly on Workato today. What is Workato? So basically, Workato is an enterprise automation and integration platform. You can say that it is a platform as a service that helps the businesses to automate their workflows, automate their data, orchestrate the complex business without any heavy coding or without doing a heavy lifting work. Workato will be helping the business to do the heavy lifting, helping the business to automate. These days, where there is a lot of data, we are getting the data is getting kind of increasing day by day, and it is increasing exponentially. So how you are going to manage the data, how enterprise applications where there would be so many systems involved like Salesforce, SAP, Oracle, product master, and then different ERP systems. There are different sub applications which are involved when it comes to the enterprise applications or enterprise level orgs. What we have to do is we have to integrate it with Salesforce. Then only the application is going to work seamless without any problem, without any kind of business user complaining that the processes are not working. And that is where Workato is one of the tool which helps the business to automate their processes. What are the core capabilities of the Workato? These are some of the capabilities which I have basically mentioned over here. First of all, it is a no code or very low code tool where you can go ahead and develop the applications. It is more likely because I'm assuming you are all from Salesforce background, so you must be developing Lightning flows. Workato recipe builder is more likely a Lightning flows. You just have to have certain connectors, and those connectors are a little bit advanced. Like it provides you the error handling, it provides you a better kind of automating the huge number of records, the large number of records that you get. There are more than 1,000 plus pre-built connectors, which include Salesforce, Slack, NetSuite, SAP, ServiceNow, Stripe. It gives you the ability to develop your own API, and it basically manages the API inside the Workato platform itself. It gives you the ability to make the API call out with the help of HTTP connector. So, kind of in short, Workato supports a lot of things which can be utilized here, including as the AWS and other complex systems. Workato also provide the AI powered automation with the help of Workato Agent Studio. In the developer account, you will not be getting the access to the AI Agent Studio or Workato AI automations. For this, what you have to do is you have to sign up for the trial sandbox. I believe that is for 30 days. So you can sign up. There is a complete end-to-end 60-minute workshop that you can go ahead. You can do it. It's a more like DIY exercise, which helps you to go through and see how you can develop the MCP servers there, how you can develop your agents. Workato refers agents as a genies, how you assign the skills to the agents, how you assign the job roles, and a lot many things are there. Workato is definitely because it is going to be utilized by the enterprise applications, enterprise clients. It provides you the security and governance control with the help of writing the different projects, different folders. It gives you the ability to either you control everything from the Workato cloud, you are control everything from your on-premise services server, or you can basically what you can do is you can host it in the hybrid mode. That means some of the services you are hosting in the cloud, some of the services that you are hosting into your on premises. So it is more likely a hybrid kind of things that you can have. So Workato is very keen to make sure that it is providing your security. It is kind of making sure your data is secured and everything is there in a correct way. There are different use cases where your business definitely wants to have, maybe business wants to say that, okay, I wanted to develop the scenario, or I wanted to have the integration in such a way that as soon as something happens in my system, let's say that we are integrating with Salesforce to Slack, and business says that as soon as a case is escalated in my system, then it should be notified to the Slack, or it should be notified, maybe an email should be sent to a different system, or the data needs to be sent or integrated to external system like Freshdesk or Kayako, or any other ticketing support system could be there. So the real time or near real time actions are also near real time actions are also there. Then you can definitely do the cross system orchestration, where you get the data and you send the data to a different system, kind of the similar requirement which we have seen. We have already talked about the Agent Studio, which is more like for creating the genies and creating the agents inside Workato Studio. Common use cases for Workato, it is more likely an integration or automation platform, as we discussed. So the use cases will be more likely common that you might be hearing across different applications like MuleSoft or Jitterbit, Talent, Delboomi, SnapLogic, Informatica. Most of the applications that you will see, the use cases will basically be common all around. It just the case of choosing the right tool, or it's just the case of choosing which tool the company wants to utilize. Sometime if the client is more enterprise grade level, for example, if I take the example of HPE, they might be using different systems, different platforms like SnapLogic, Informatica, or maybe Delboomi, MuleSoft. There are different use cases, there are different clients, and they utilize different systems as per their use case. We have got, like, if I talk about the first use case, that is opportunity stage notification. Maybe an opportunity, maybe the sales rep is working and the opportunity needs to be notified to the team. There is a higher volume opportunity, and the team wants to basically make sure that whenever a high volume opportunity reaches to the negotiation stage, they wanted to get notified. So opportunity stage notification is one of the use case. Then you have got high priority cases. As soon as a case creates with the high priority or maybe urgent priority case, maybe the keyword contains payments or login access, depending on how business wants to configure this. Case notification can be there, case escalation notification can be there. You wanted to sync the campaigns between the Salesforce and HubSpot or Marketo, or maybe any other marketing platform that you have. You can automate the approval process. Sometimes whenever there is a requirement of fast approval, or you wanted to get the things approved in a very fast way, you can send whatever the approval is required. For example, maybe for an invoicing, or maybe approval is required for the pull request. These kind of integrations can be made through Workato. The bottom four use cases that you see are related to the finance industry, where you are working with maybe order management project, or e-commerce project you're working, or you're working for the finance project itself. There would be various requirement. It's especially related to the invoicing part, reconciliation, making sure that the AR is matching with the data. The data could be inside Salesforce or NetSuite or SAP. So all these kind of use cases automation can be done with the help of Workato. there will be certain limitations that you might face while you are practicing with the Workato, like you do not get the access to NetSuite, you don't get the access to Oracle, you don't get the access to SAP, but still you will be able to do a lot of automation with the help of Salesforce, QuickBooks, Workato, HubSpot, Marketo. These are all systems, Stripe. These are all system which gives you the trial account, and you can do a lot many use cases. You can implement it. For example, if I give you one of the use case that I would like you to go ahead and try it with the help of Workato is integrating Stripe with Salesforce. So a customer makes a payment, it should gets inserted into Salesforce. If the customer is basically making, maybe creating an invoice, or invoice is paid, make sure it is being updated into Salesforce. This kind of scenario could be there with the help of a Stripe. Or maybe you can develop an API in Workato which helps you to create the links, the payment links, the invoice link, the session link with the help of Slack, and as well as it sends to the different systems. It could be Salesforce, or it could be any another finance system. These are some of the use cases that we see. Yep. So before we go to the demo, any questions that we have, because we are going to talk about now signing up to the Workato platform, how you get the access to the sandbox, and how you get the access to the developer org, how you basically get the access to the Workato Academy, and all those things we are going to talk about. Any questions that we have?
Guys, you can use the Q&A section as well as the chat window for the questions.
Yeah, I don't see anything in the chat, neither in Q&A. So I'll take this as no.
So Sai Supir has written something.
Yes. Okay, I'll move forward. If questions are
Uh,
there, I'll take it.
can you Amit, can you please check the chat window? I'm not able to see.
There, yeah, there is no question, no problem.
Yeah.
There's no question in the chat. Okay, so yeah, so to get started with Workato, because I just talked about a little bit about Workato, a little bit about use cases that could be there, potential use cases. Now let's talk about how you will get started. To get started, you definitely need a free developer account, and you where you can go ahead, work with the different terminology, work with the different concepts that Workato provides, and then get familiar with the Workato. It is definitely emerging technology, emerging tool that we are getting, and it is more likely, I see, as it might basically come as a replacement or maybe a competitor for MuleSoft. So this is basically going to be a very good additional skill that you might wanted to have. To get started with Workato, what you have to do is basically you have to go to app.workato.com, users, sign up. This is going to be the URL. If I open it, for me it might not open because I am already signed in. But if I show you into the incognito mode, where you have to do is you have to go to app.workato.com, and then you just have to say users and sign up. If you do this, what it's going to do is it is going to ask like your name, work email, password. Work email need not to be the company email, it could be a personal email, so you can go ahead and provide your personal email, and it is going to basically give you a free developer account where you can almost do a lot of things like developing the APIs, writing the automation, integrating with different systems, and doing a lot many things. So it helps you to basically you go ahead and utilize this and practice. It is going to be more likely your playground. Once you are signed in, what you can do is basically you've got Workato Academy. Workato Academy is the place. It is more likely a trailhead that you have. So Salesforce has got trailhead where you have different modules, you have different projects, different trails which you can go ahead and learn. Similar to this, Workato also has their place called as Workato Academy, and there is a lot of paid trainings which are there, and you don't really need to go for paid training. There are three certifications that are required or recommended for any person who wants to do hands-on with Workato and who wants to work with Workato. These are Automation Pro 1, 2, and 3. These are all for free. You just need to go ahead. You need to register for the these training programs and then start learning. Once you have done that, it will ask you to basically provide to do the training, to do the exam certificate, sorry, certificate exam. And once your exam is completed and you have passed it, you will get the certificate issued. I have completed all three, so now I am basically going for, there is, now there are paid application. Once you have completed these, then there will be paid certifications like Workato integration developer or something like that. So I am basically working on that certification for now. If you want to work with the Workato AI capability, there is basically, you have to sign up for the trial sandbox, and once you have signed up, then you will get a module, or I can say a 60-minute workshop, 60-minute DIY, I would say, setup guide, or a step-by-step guidance for you how you can create an agent into Workato sandboxes, and how you can deploy those agents. Those agents can be deployed over the Slack, those agents can be deployed over Workday and multiple other systems. So agents can be deployed at the various places. uh, so this link and all you will be basically getting, I believe, into, you will be getting this slide after the session is completed, so you will have access to these links. And actually will also send you an email so that you can sign up for this sandbox and give it a try. So all these
So,
links will be shared.
yeah. So Amit, we have a question by Ishan in the chat window. Is there a particular advantage of using Workato in comparison to Salesforce to Slack out of the box integration?
Well, I think first of all, we don't really have an out-of-box integration with Salesforce. It's more likely through a managed package, if I'm not wrong. Akshay can correct me here, but it's more likely a managed package that Salesforce does provide. And whatever I know, I have not worked on that managed package since long. It's been 3 or 4 years, I believe, but I believe that package uh, can be depreciated anytime, because it's not something that Salesforce is actively managing that package. So that package can be depreciated anytime, and you as an organization don't really want it to rely on something which is not basically reliable. Even I will not disclose the name of the project, but even Salesforce is not using their managed package for integrating with Slack. Uh, I have been a part of Salesforce for almost an year. I have, even in my team, people have done the custom integration. So this is one of the thing that I see. A second thing is that it's just a matter of choice, which tool basically you wanted to utilize. So let's say you just want to do the integration with Salesforce using Slack. You don't really want, sorry, you just want to do the integration of Slack with Salesforce. Just for this purpose, you definitely won't want to utilize Workato license, and you don't want to pay for Workato because you want to do the integration with Slack. It's just a use case that we are taking over here. On the other hand, let's say your company is already using Workato for doing the different kind of enterprise automation, and at that same time you get a requirement for integrating Salesforce with Slack. Then, because you already have a Workato license provision for you, it is better to basically write a Workato recipe instead of utilizing the managed package, which is not reliable. That managed package can go anywhere, anytime. That's what basically I got to know. Again, these are all my words, not something, nothing, something Salesforce is obviously saying. Okay, so that is one of the things that I see. So it's not just like there is a specific thing. I would say it's more likely if you have access to the tool, you go ahead and utilize that instead of going for something which is available in the market and might go away anytime. I hope I have given a good enough answer. Okay, I will now go ahead, and once you sign up basically for the developer account, this is how your Workato will look like. I have got a lot of projects. You don't really need to bother about the projects that I have got basically, but this is how your Workato account is going to look like. Please let me know if you can see it clearly. Otherwise, I will give it a zoom. I hope everyone can see it.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so this is how basically your project will look like. Your Workato will look like. You will not have these projects. I've got a lot of projects here created for me. These are the different projects I've created for trainings, for the certification. This is for my learning purpose. Then this is what we are going to utilize today for the demo purpose. And then this is something which is, I don't know why I created. Okay, so you will have projects. So in the dashboard, basically there are multiple things that you will see here, like projects, operations hub. Operations hub is the place where you are going to basically have a lot many things, where you are going to see all your analytics that you get over here. You are going to see the dependency graph, how your connections are connected, like how, what are the different systems that are connected here, like Salesforce is connected with Google Drive, Google Sheet, Slack, and these are the only three systems which I have been working so far. So I have got, I believe, there are total 8 recipes, 8 automations which I have developed, and out of 8, 3 are connected with Slack, 5 are connected with Google Drive, Google Sheets, and 2 are connected with Slack. So that means there are some of the recipes which are using Slack, Google Drive, and um, Google Sheets together. So, and you can see the different applications here, and based on the application, you can see what exactly is happening. All these things you can see here. So this is one of the place, like if I say Salesforce, it says, okay, I have got 3 Salesforce orgs: SFDC training, Hindi, my production environment. SFDC training is being used in a recipe called case escalation notification. My Hindi org is being used in 5 different notifications, and then production, where I have been developing the API and I have been basically integrating with Salesforce as well. Similarly, whatever the applications that you have, you select that application and you would be able to see what are the different recipes that you have, and you click on this, you hover over to a recipe, and you will be able to see the, you can basically navigate to that recipe detail page. That is where the operation hubs come. Then you have got something called as community library, which is more likely the recipes, the reusable recipes which you might build, and you can basically expose it. It is more likely a kind of, I would say, similar to the app exchange, where you get the free applications in Salesforce. And similarly, if someone has developed, maybe you might came up through an idea where you develop a recipe, and that recipe you publish it over here. So once you do this, your recipe will be available here, and
It is a pre-built recipe.
these are the pre-built recipes that you can utilize, more likely in managed package applications which you get into the app exchange. So you just go ahead. For example, if I go to developer and select Snowflake and an environment, you will see that these are the recipes that I have got, like seamless data orchestration for enterprise. And you get, these are the different environment. This is basically a recipe which is being utilized here. There are 4 connections, 4 recipes, and you just need to utilize this. Once you download this, and you just need to modify the connections and all those things, it is basically going to be more likely a reusable template kind of thing, which will help you to save the time, and you don't really need to spend much time in putting the right way, performing all the best practices, and mapping all these data fields, because whenever you are integrating with external system, mapping becomes very important. So these are the basically, that is what you comes under the community library. Then you've got platform. This is something which I have not been working much, but it is more likely where you develop the APIs. Then tools is one of the place where you would be spending a lot of time, especially the lookup tables. Lookup table is something that you, if you are familiar with the concept of custom settings and custom metadata, that is what the lookup table is. So you store your data here under the lookup table. For example, if I open this US postal codes, based on the city, I have got the postal code. So for example, for a particular city, I need a postal code in my recipe. What I would do is I will use this lookup table, and I will provide the city as an input, and I will get postal code. Or based on the postal code, I can get the city. And that's basically what the lookup table is, more likely custom settings and custom metadata. Then you get inside the tools itself, you get environment properties, custom SDKs that you can develop, a lot many things you can basically explore. I will not go in deep for each and everything. That's what you get. Most of the time, Like this is what we are going to spend today on under the projects. Under projects, you get something called as assets. Assets is basically a collection of your recipes, collection of your connections, the folders, the projects that you get. Under the assets, you will see there are recipes, there are connections, there are data tables. Data tables are more likely, again, static tables where you can store the data. Something you have deleted, you can get under recycle bin. So what we basically usually we do is whenever we are working, and I would also suggest you whenever you are doing the training or you are basically doing the hands-on with the Workato, it is better that you create a project which is basically having a meaningful name. So you just give a project over here. For example, I would say um, Workato integration developer, and then I can provide the description. Maybe this I will be using for certification exam. I can provide my description, what's the purpose of my project, and then create it. So once we create the project, under that project, we have the ability to get the folders where we can organize recipes inside the folders. We can organize connections inside the folder. We can have the folder based on the different external systems like folder for Salesforce, folder for QuickBooks, Stripe, Workato, SAP, AWS, and a lot many things. Whatever you do, so you create you create basically a project, and under that you basically have an option called as create, where it gives you the option to create not many things like connection, data table, and folder. The first thing that you should create a folder. For example, we say that connections folder is mainly intended to store all the connections for external systems like Salesforce, Slack, and any external system that I have. Then I will create one more folder called as recipes. Okay, and this is basically the recipes is the folder where I'm going to create all my automation. So recipes are nothing, these are the automations that we are going to write. These recipes will be responsible for doing all your end-to-end work, all your end-to-end automation that you would be doing. Okay, so now the use case that we are going to take over here, the use case is that whenever a case is escalated in Salesforce, we wanted to get that notified in the Slack that, hey, this case has been escalated, could you please take a look and then get this resolved ASAP. This is one of the use case that we are going to see. Now what we see here is we see that, okay, as soon as a case is escalated, we see a possibility of real time or near real time integration, because we don't say that whatever the case escalated has case escalation has been happened, we might want it to send at the end. No, we want to do it at the start of the, as soon as a case is escalated, we want to basically notify to Slack. We want to notify to the Slack group. You can also notify to a particular manager depending on the department, depending on for which technology or for which area that case is related to, or which product that case is related to. You can have that. Now you wanted to have or this is here the clear requirement that you see, that there are two systems which are involved. One is Slack, where the notification will be sent, and another one is Salesforce, from where we are going to get the data, because Salesforce is our system which will be triggering our recipe or our automation. So we need to have access to two Salesforce, two environments. One is Slack and one is Salesforce. Now Slack is something, I believe it's pretty easy. You go to app.slack.com. I believe, if I'm not wrong, that should be the URL, app.slack.com. And I think from here you can go ahead. I'm logged in. I'll maybe open my incognito mode, app.slack.com, and you just go ahead and click on sign in. Then you can basically create an account, and this is where you provide your personal email and an account will be created. It's free, you don't really need to pay anything to Salesforce for utilizing Slack. Okay, at least for the practice purpose, whatever you want to do, you can do it. And if you want to work with the sandboxes, the Slack sandboxes, by getting all the capabilities, like maybe you might wanted to integrate Agent Force, or you wanted to work with Agent Force in the Slack as well, then I think there is something called a Slack developer program. Yes, you have Slack developer program. You need to sign up. You just need to say join this program. Provide the details. You will get an email to sign to log in and all those things, and then you will be able to basically provision the sandboxes. Now, one thing that I would like to point over here is when you are trying to provision the sandboxes, Salesforce will ask you to provide your credit card information. You don't need to worry about that. Salesforce is not going to charge anything. The sandbox access will be basically, it is, I think, for 6 months. You can create 2 sandboxes at a time, and Salesforce is not going to charge any rupee or any dollar from your credit card. It is just that they wanted to verify that you are a person, you are a genuine person who wanted to utilize this. So it's not, they are not going to charge. I'm using it effectively since I think an year, since the day this program has been announced, and I have been using that. So they are not charging me, at least till now. So you can utilize that. I already have got this Slack account. You can see here I already have got this Slack account, which is basically having multiple channels over here. I've created multiple channels, and one of the channel that we are going to use is Noida Salesforce Slack channel. This is what we are going to use. There is nothing as of now in this channel. Now, I hope you all have got Salesforce Access for sure, which is I have got Salesforce Access. I will open my Salesforce Access, which I need to uh, use here for this demo purpose. So I've got Salesforce, I've got Slack. Once you've got both the access, now it is your time to basically start connecting. So click on create connection, and then in the connection, once you click on connection, it is basically show you different system. If you look at this, almost all the systems which are available in the market these days, you get all those things, and it still says that there are 148 connections which are still pending, and you'll find almost everything. If you look at this, almost all the platforms are there. And even if you don't find, I believe there is something called as HTTP. So if you don't find any connector, you got HTTP. So you are going to utilize this HTTP for connecting with the help of maybe different protocols, maybe JWT or providers or anything, right? For us, we are going to use Slack. So we'll select Slack and click on recommended apps, Slack. Provide the name of your Slack. I would say Noida Slack Meetup, which way I would be able to identify. Then you just need to click on connect. So if you click on connect, and before you click on connect, it says that where is the location you wanted to store. And I have got, uh, I'm inside my project Workato integration developer, and then I've got a folder called as connection. So I am inside my connection. Okay, so my connections folders. Once you click on connect, what it will do is it will take you to the authorized page, which is automatically going to utilize the OAuth 2.0. If you are logged in, it will basically ask you to provide the permission. Like you can see here, it is asking me for providing the permission. These are the different permissions that it will get. If I give the access, the application called as Workato, it will be able to do all these operations or activities on behalf of the user which I'm logging to. I'll say go ahead and allow, because I trust Workato and I want to give the access, and the connection has been established. Your connection is connected. This is the first thing that we need to do. Second thing is that we again need to click on create. We'll click on connection. And the second thing that we need to do is we are going to basically utilize Salesforce here. And you need to give the name of your Salesforce. For say Noida Slack Meetup Salesforce. Then which location you want to have. I want to have under connection folders. Then what is the authorization type that you want to use? Do you want to use JWT token, or do you want to use authorize, auth 2.0? So for now, let's go ahead and utilize OAuth 2.0. We don't want to go for JWT. And the other reason is that I haven't used JWT as of now. Then you have got sandboxes. Either it is a sandbox or not. I would say no, it's not a sandbox. If you are connecting with sandbox, you need to say yes. If you're connecting with a developer org or a production org, you need to say no. And then click on connect. So once you click on connect, you are basically going to take into the login page of your Salesforce org. You can see here login.salesforce.com. It has selected my user by default. I don't know which particular username it has selected. So I have to select my Salesforce org. Is it this? No, this is not the one. So I will choose a different username here. And I hope my password is correct. So once password is correct, it will ask you to allow the permission. Now there is one step it has basically missed, or it has skipped, not missed. Basically, it has skipped one step. And what is that step? Allowing the permission, which you have seen in case of Slack. Why it has not basically displayed that step or that message notification for allowing me to access or granting me the access for Workato application? The reason is that this Salesforce org is already connected in my Workato account for a different project. So you will get one more step in between. So you just need to go ahead and grant the access, and that is what you need to do. And once you have granted the access, you will see your connection is connected. Now, once you are basically connected with all these different external systems that you needed to, now the time is to start developing the recipe. To create a recipe, we'll click on create and recipe. Location, make sure you select the correct folder called as recipes, and we are going to say SFDC case escalation notification. Forget about any typo, I do a lot. Notification, not a meetup. Okay, so that's what you need to do. Now this is the starting point. You will see that there is a lot of different starting point that you got, right? You got trigger from an application, like you are triggering whenever a case is created. You are triggering when a order is created in SAP. You are triggering whenever a event has been received in AWS, or you wanted to run based on a scheduled basis, a certain interval that you have. You have implemented a webhook, maybe in the Stripe. As soon as a payment is made, you wanted to listen a webhook here, and then you want to trigger it. You wanted to call it from another recipe, so you wanted to develop the reusable recipes, like the reusable flows. You develop the reusable recipe, and which will be invoked from a different recipe. There is something called a recipe function. We will not go there. Or you can develop endpoint. This is more likely developing a custom API, like you develop in Salesforce, you develop in MuleSoft, similar to those. Basically, here you get that you have an option to develop an API. And then this is the new thing that I see is with the help of Slack bot command. Because our requirement says that we wanted to, none of these basically fit in case of our requirements. That means the trigger from an application is what it is best fit. We will keep that selected and click on start building. Now it says that okay, because you said you wanted to trigger your recipe from an application, which application you wanted to trigger from. These are my recent application which I have been using. So it is showing me that okay, from the previous recipes you have used these 4 applications, which one you want to choose. Coming back to the requirement again, our requirement says as soon as a case is escalated. That means Salesforce we are using for the case management. So Salesforce is going to be our application, our trigger, which is going to trigger. We'll select Salesforce. As soon as we selected the Salesforce application, now it is asking us to set up a trigger. What would be your triggering point for this recipe? It is giving you certain recommendation record when a new opportunity is created or updated. A record has been created or updated. So what you are going to do is you are going to select new updated record. Now select which connection you want to. This is what our connection that we have created. You can also share the connections. You can see clearly here. We will use that connection which we have just used. Now which object you want to use? You will see the list of object, that is case. What are the different fields that you want to retrieve? This is the place where you need to be really careful. Why you need to be really careful? Because you don't really wanted to choose unnecessary fields which will increase the size of the payload, which will start creating the performance issues and other things. For now, for the testing purpose, I'll make sure I'm selecting all the fields. However, you should be only selecting the fields that you need for that recipe purpose. Do not select the field. Even in your Salesforce as well, whenever you are writing the SQL query, this is more likely a SQL query. So whenever you are writing the SQL query, you should not write all the fields. Similar to that, you should not retrieve all the fields here. You should only retrieve whatever you want. Okay. Then you got something called as when the first start select from the list, we will say an hour ago. Yeah, we will say whatever the records which has been basically. So what this option says, it says that what is the timestamp from where you want this recipe to pick the record. So do you want to pick the record which has been escalated from an hour ago, or maybe from yesterday, last week, or beginning of the time, or you want to have the timing whenever the recipe starts, and after that if the case is escalated then you want to pick up. So depending on that you can select. For now we'll keep it as 1 hour ago. Then you have got something called as triggering action. You can set up the trigger action over here. You wanted to set up whenever a case is escalated, right? Now whatever you see here is known as data pills. Data pill is something which is containing the information about your data. So we are saying that when the case status equals escalated, so I'm going to take this and put it as a value here. There are two options like text and formula. You can write the formula, we will talk about later on. But text is something that you wanted to put as a static text. And then you can also add multiple conditions. So what I'm saying is only and only trigger this recipe if the case status equals escalated. And once one particular case has been picked up by the recipe, it will not pick that case again. This is basically being handled by Workato itself. Your condition is ready and everything is done. Your triggering point is done. Now you can, I think, I'm not sure if you can change. You cannot change it. So you see here now what it says. Your recipe is going to run whenever a new case is created or an updated based on the condition if the status equal to escalated. So even if your case is created with the escalated status, it will pick that because you also wanted to notify for that as well. Once you've got the triggering point, you have got actions. If you hover over to the action, you will see there is a call. There is something called as button, which is more likely similar to flow. If you see, flow also has got button to add certain steps. If you click on plus icon, you will see there are different options that you can do. You can have the error handling, which is recommended always, like you wanted to do error handling. So you will say try catch. This is more like try catch that you get here. What happens if there is no error? What happens if there is an error, right? So if there is an error, we wanted to first of all end that recipe. Sorry, I have to select stop job and I don't want to use this. Okay. Do not retry. This is the first thing. We are configuring the error part. Okay. We are configuring the catch part where say that whatever you are doing here, something, example, posting to Slack, and some error has occurred. So what will happen? You are going to do the error handling part here now, right? You're going to do error handling. So first says that do you want to give it a retry? There is a retry mechanism. You can say okay, retry 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Maybe it is retrying 3 times. Okay, and even after retrying 3 times, if the error is still persist, that means there is still an error. Then what you want to do is maybe you want to create a log error in Salesforce saying that for this particular case we were not able to send the message to the Slack. Or what you can do is you can send an email. So there is something called as email as an action. Yes, this is one of the action that you get. Even you can integrate with Gmail or Outlook, but there is something called as email by Workato. For the demo purpose, we will use email by Workato. Whom you want to send, you can write the static emails over here. You can use the formulas here, or you can utilize the properties of the user who is setting up. So you can see this is my email. I would say okay, I wanted to send this email to whatever my email is there. So if there is any error, I will receive that email. What subject I want to basically receive, maybe I will use formula here and I will say error occurred while notifying Slack. notifying to Slack, and then I can basically utilize here the subject of my case. That is something I can do, or not here under the properties. It is under new case. So I want a subject. Is that subject? Here it is. So what I'm doing is I'm concatenating over here so that this would be my email subject. What is the email type? Is it a HTML or is it whatever it is, text format? Message, I would say error occurred while sending notification to Slack. This is my subject, and then I can say case number. You can use case number here as well. So case number is what you got. Then you say plus. Maybe you wanted to use contact ID as well for the safer side. For which particular contact this has been, it's just more likely I'm just trying to put some certain details over here. That's it. Whatever you can put over here. Okay, you can put anything that you want. One thing that you need to make sure here is this concatenation that you are doing. So if there is any value which is null, there would be an error. Your recipe will fail because it will not be able to concatenate. In that case, you will have to use maybe formulas. For example, you have to say if, there has to be if, do I see if? Usually there has to be some formulas that you need to, it says shift space. Okay, if I put shift space, I get all these. Yeah, it says if it is a blank value, you wanted to utilize something, you can use the formula to make sure that if the value is blank, you concatenate the blank. If the value is not blank, you concatenate the correct value. Then there are other options as well, like you wanted to put some CC or BCC, so you can utilize those values. You want to put some attachments content, you can also add those. I don't know what it will basically ask for, so we will go ahead and say I don't want to use, where is that? I don't want this, both of them. Okay, so this is what we wanted to do. So we are sending the email whenever it is happening. Now what we wanted to do under the try part, where we are trying to do what exactly we are trying to do. This will be your functionality. This will be your core part that you want to do. Like you want to send a notification to the Slack. So you select again, Slack will be your application. Then you need to post a message. So I'll say yes, post a message. To which notification, to which account? Noida Slack meetup account. Which channel I want to post? So I want to post to, there is a channel that I created, Noida Slack meetup. What is the content that I wanted to post? It would be pretty simple content, straightforward. I would say case has been escalated, and we are going to use formula. We are going to use subject here, simple subject, and then we are going to say case number. That's all we are going to basically put. If you want, you can have basically like the status of, not a status, the priority of the case. You wanted to have the description of the case, you wanted to have the information about the uh, contact. You could basically have that, which will help you or help your manager or your management to take a decision, do they really want to prioritize this case or not. Let's forget about all these attachments and all those things, and that's basically what you need to do. Once your Slack message has been posted, you might want it to end your job, so you can just go ahead and click on stop job. So your job is going to be stopped. And at the end also you can have that, if there is any way that it is going to come in step 8, your job will be stopped. Go ahead and save it. Okay, now this is what basically you can do. Now there is a question saying, what if we forget to, or we selected a different source for the recipe trigger? So I believe you can go ahead and I'm not sure if you can change this, but there has to be a way to change this for sure. You might need to take a look. To be honest, I haven't done that yet, so you can go ahead and take a look. So that is what we have got. Now what we are going to do is we are going to basically do a demo. Okay, to test this, what you have to do is you will have something called as test recipes. So you click on test recipes, and if your recipe has no problem, it will say okay. there is no problem. It could not find a trigger event. It will check again in 29 minutes. But what we will do is, in the meantime, we'll go to our Salesforce application, and we are going to open case object, choose any case which is basically not in escalated status. However, I have chosen a case which is already in escalated, so I'll change the status to some other field, maybe waiting for internal team. So currently my case is on waiting on internal team, and if I go to my recipe and say click on check now, it should not find any case. Why? Because the condition does not matches. The case is not yet escalated. Now if you go back to Salesforce and we say okay, now case is escalated, I hope I have given the correct value, save it, go back to your recipe. Now you don't really want to wait for 29 minutes to test your recipe, so you can click on check now, which will pick up the record if it has found. Now you can see it says successful, the record has been found. If you click on this, it will show you what is the data, whatever the data that Salesforce has sent, all these records are here. If you click on message, the message was successful to the Slack, and if you go to the Slack, you can see a message has been posted over here saying that a case has been escalated, performance, this is the subject of the case, this is the case number, this is the description. So our notification is working fine. It's more likely a small demo that we wanted to include over here. Once you are done, what you can do is you click on exit. This will take you to the recipe detail page, and now you wanted to activate it, you can go ahead and click on start recipe, which is going to start the recipe. You will see that there are the different jobs. These are the even the testing job that you have seen over here. It will have all the tests and failures. If there is any failure which has happened, you will see all these details over here. You will see the connections, what are the different connections that you have available for this recipe, the different versions for your recipes, 1 and 2, which is 1 is 2 is correct current, and 1 is whatever has up. Test cases, this is more likely making sure you are writing the test cases more likely apex or flows that you get. And then you have got settings, you can generate and you can share it with someone if you want. So once you are done, you click on start recipe, and your recipe will be starting, and it will keep checking for the events that is happening. For example, if we try to change the case, now I think this is what we wanted to showcase for the demo. Before we go to the best practice part, any questions that we have? All these cases are closed. I'll open this case, maybe approved for escalation, save it, and this is the case that I have, and I can escalate it. I want to put something for description. Any questions? There is a question from Krishna, Workato email versus SES. I believe you're talking about Amazon SES. It is up to you which tool you wanted to utilize for. I think it will always be recommended to use your own email providers for sending the emails instead of relying on Workato. There are high chances that Workato email might get into spam. I'm not sure. I haven't tried it, but choosing between a Workato email versus SES, if you have SES and you are already having AWS, your business is good, utilize SES. Otherwise, Workato email is also good. It's not that I have seen this, so you get the proper notification and all those things. The case is escalated. I hope. Okay, this is basically checking. It will check for every 28 minutes, and then we will get this over here. Okay, that is for the demo. Any questions?
So, guys, the forum is all yours. If you have any questions, Amit Singh is here, or you can connect him on the LinkedIn itself. Let me post his LinkedIn ID.
Okay, I don't see any message, so I will move forward to the best practices part, because it is always recommended that you use any tool and you should follow the best practice. First of all is the category for designing the recipes. So you should be designing the recipes which are modular. For example, this one itself, we are utilizing Slack for, we are using sending the notification to the Slack, right? There would be a lot many use cases where you are sending the notification to the Slack. So create a recipe which would be more likely creating a recipes which would be called from a recipe, and you can say post to Slack. And every time whenever you have a requirement for posting to Slack, you just go ahead and utilize this recipe, right? So that is what basically, this is what one of the one of the best practice. You should be using the recipe which is modular. Use proper naming convention, which would be easy for you to identify which recipe is used for what purpose. Do not provide any hard code IDs, which is again, it could be, there could be chances it is breaking your recipe. And make sure that you are using the proper error handling with the help of try catch. In terms of data handling, which is because most of the time your automation is going to handle the data, and there are different sub points that we get here is like use data trees effectively. That means utilize the unnecessary sorry avoid the unnecessary for loops or the transformations which are not needed, or only do the for loops, or only do the basically transformations for the required set of data that is there. Make sure that you are doing the proper field mapping, you are doing the tests, you are running the test at least I would say 5, 6, or 7, or whatever the different use case that you have for the data. So you should be working on that data part as well. Then you should be making sure that you are paying attention to your payload. Do not use unnecessary fields, and utilize the pagination. And especially if you are working with Salesforce or any system, when you work, you definitely get an option to handle the data with the help of chunks. So you try to utilize that if it is a, if you are going to go for multiple options. Okay. Then performance, which is the third category that we have get. If you are using your scheduled run, if you are using you are scheduling your recipe, make sure that your recipe is running in such a way that it is avoiding to get large number of data. um, for example, if you're running on a daily basis and your recipe is getting thousands or millions of record, you might want to break down your recipe to run maybe twice a day instead of running single times a day. Utilize the batch operations. If your external system supports the batch operations, then please utilize the batch operations for performing the large number of performing operations on the large data. Utilize the caching wherever it is possible with the help of lookup tables or recipe data storage. You can perform the caching there. And optimize, you should be optimizing your triggers, adding the conditions, using the polls wherever it is needed, which will be helping you to write a better recipe. These were some of the categories and some of the best practices. And now the floor is all yours. This is my scanner, which will give you all relevant links that you want to have. Any questions? I am ready to take.
So we have one question from Ishan. So he's asking how we can sign up for the Workato Academy. There is no option to sign up for the academy. So
You
Amit,
have to sign up for the Workato developer account first, which is app.workato.com/users /sign_up. So you have to sign up for developer account, which will eventually give you the access to Workato Academy.
so Ishan, all clear? Cool, cool. So yeah, thank you so much, Amit, for the wonderful session. Like I have been the part of the Workato Academy, using the Workato for the integration of Salesforce and Slack. It's really a game changer with a minimum, or I would say a low code thing. So yeah, thank you so much, Amit. And guys, this is the best part. We're moving for the quiz session. Although Amit, you can join, but we can't offer you a swag in the quiz itself. So let's begin with the quiz session now.
Yeah, I think Let everyone participate. All the best, guys.
Let me share my screen. Yeah. Okay. I hope my screen is up. Guys, you can scan this QR code, enter the game pin, and just enter in the quiz. Please write your correct name. So we have one, two, three, four, five, six participants right now. So we need a person with the correct name. Please correct your name. Even if you win the swag, if your name is not correct, we can't offer you a swag.
Who is this Kabutar?
We have one, two, 10 participants. We'll wait for another 1 minute. Let's all the participants join the contest. Okay, we have Arjun, Janani, Ishan, Rizwan, Apram, Supriya, Apuv, Shredha. We'll start in next 30 seconds. Please, guys, join fast. So, Amit, is this you, the speaker?
Yes.
All right, all right. So we have 11 participants right now. One. So, is there anyone facing challenge in joining the contest? I can't see Abhishek Mittal.
Okay, you're good now.
Okay, so we'll start the contest right now. Okay, here we go. So, what does the Slack stands for? All right, we have four right answer. Cool. So here's the scoreboard. All right, all right. We have okay. Moving on to the next question. It is for the double point, in which year the Slack was acquired by the Salesforce. These are some of the basic questions, basically.
I'm marking all incorrect.
In which year the Slack was acquired? Okay, okay. So this the wrong answer is marked by you.
No, it was a fluke.
All right. Moving on to the scoreboard. Supriya is in the first, Approve in the second, Ishan leading third. All right. Moving on the third question. It is also for the double point. What is the recipe in the Workato? So recipe. Right. All right. I think like people really enjoyed your session and paid attention to it.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. So moving on to the leaderboard. We have again Supriya, Apoorv, no change in the leaderboard. Okay, the speaker is coming ahead. Moving on to the fourth question, which option is not available in the Slack? All right. Okay. All right. So Apoorv got to the first place. Supriya just moved to the second place. What does a trigger do in a recipe? I guess create a database. What do you think, Amit?
Yeah.
All right. Start the recipe when event is happened. Okay. I see the proof has like got all the answer correct. This question is for the double points. What is an action in a Workato? A step that performs a task in a test environment, I guess.
It is a connection setup.
Okay, so I guess people listened to me and clicked on the test environment. Okay, there is a change in the leaderboard.
Okay, so I will step down this time.
Okay, this seventh question, what is not a type of Workato trigger? I guess polling schedule, I guess, or event based.
It is event based.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the leaderboard. Supriya just moved to the first first place. Moving on to the Ishan. Which feature is not commonly automated using Workato? Okay. Slack wall could I give? All right. I see there is no change in the leaderboard. All right. Ishan is on the second. What is the main advantage of using Slack Workato together? Hmm. All right. I guess like everyone has paid attention. Cool. Okay, moving on to the next question. Who is the CEO of Slack? I guess it's Jacob.
It's Lenny.
Oh, okay. So everyone has ticked almost one every option here. Okay.
And how come I'm still there?
I'm not sure about it. Okay, moving on to the second last question of the event. Which Workato features helps in self-interactive button in the Slack message? Okay, I guess nice. Moving on to the leaderboard, there is no change in the leaderboard. Okay, moving on to the last question. If you want to automate a daily Slack reminder, which trigger should you use? I guess like we have talked about it. Oh, nice. So guys, welcome to the podium. Let's see who is on the first place. Oh, finally, Apurvana in the second.
Who is the fourth one?
We will see like who is the fourth one.
Sai Supriya. Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations, Supriya, Apurv, and everyone who has joined this event. Please email me
No.
Just message me your email address so we
Who
can.
is the who is the fourth one?
Fourth one, I guess I need to check. So we have like basically,
Isan.
yeah. So basically we have two swags like I mentioned in the chat
Okay.
window. The first and the second, of course. In case you are the second, we'll pick the third one. So yeah, thank you everyone like for joining this event. And just Supriya, please message me your email, and Apu, please message me your email address so we can start with your Slack swag process. In case, guys, you have any question regarding the Slack, Workato, just asked right away. Or you have Amit Singh LinkedIn profile. He is very active member in this Slack and the Salesforce community. You can definitely message him. So, guys, thank you so much. It's a wrap, and we'll see you in the next event. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Have a good day.